All right, so you want to learn how to make your kick drum sound fat, yet punchy, yet dominating the low end. So let me play what we have now, and then I'm gonna play what we had before. Okay, that's there. All right, so for this song, there's basically only one kick drum. Whether this is in or out, I'm not even sure. I did not get kick in, kick out, but it sounded good. But that kick alone couldn't do the job for the song by itself. So in this case, I used a sample. And then the sample that I chose, let's just listen to what the sample sounded like. So let me blend it with the original one. Right, mute the sample. So this guy right here, the original kick drum, it's been EQ'd, by the way, during tracking, but it has that punch. It even has some low end to it, some guts to it, right, that can really punch through. So the sample was there to give me some more sub lows, and they worked very well. All right, so that's the first way, making sure that what you're working with is great, right, and can help you get that low end sound that you want. Like I once saw in a video a long time ago that says, you cannot polish a third, right? That was a mastering video. It's been a long time now, and I love the guy that did that. When the source is not good, there's nothing you can really do in the mixing stage. All right, so this is what I'm doing to the kick here, cleaning up some frequency around about 200-ish side and 400. So let me bring this in and out. Right, and I'll boost that so you can hear what I was removing. Let's see. There isn't much honestly going there, so I was then controlling some of the top end. I don't want to make it super bright. All right, so the 2 kick drum is going into the kick comp right here. So this is where I'm processing both of those kick drums together. So the first thing here is I'm using the BX. There was something around the 100 frequency that I had to remove, and I'm going to play that because once I play it, you're going to hear that frequency. I could have gone a little bit tighter on the Q or the bandwidth in this case, but let's just hear what that sounded like. Move around. So 130 is fine, but there's something around here. So I stopped at 107-ish, right? So it's felt like, oh no, I've lost some, I don't know, it's now hollow in there, but that's fine. It's better to clean up the kick drum here and it's going to help me actually get more punchy sound. The Q, like I said, could be tighter, but you just have to kind of listen. That's what I would do. I would normally use a tight Q, but here the bandwidth is a little bit wider. So let me play this in and out so you can hear what I was doing. Right there, nice. Bring it out again. Okay. That's good. And also just slight dip here around 5K. Just trying to control that top end. This is usually what I would do in the mixing. Maybe when I'm listening to the entire track, the click can be too much, so I got to tame that. So here we have SSL here. We have SSL here. So what I'm doing here is I'm bringing back some low end because that's what we're trying to get with this kick drum. So around 100. So I cut around 107, clean it up. I'm around 104. I'm bringing back some low end, and then some cutting out something also around 4K, just too bright. Now let's bring that in and out. Let's hear it. The compressor isn't doing much, though it's active, but it's not doing much. It's active. Another thing that I'm doing, because one thing you can hear is how tight the kick drum all of a sudden sounds. It's not because of what I'm just doing here that is making it tight. I'm also using a high pass filter on there at 47. That's how, because this is a shelf right here. I'm only boosting about 2 dB. It's a shelf. So if I turn off the high pass filter, it can become too boomy. But now the high pass filter is on 47, almost at 50 cycles, right? And it sounded tight. Let me play that, bring it in and out again so you can hear. Right. Width now. Okay, so we're getting somewhere with the kick sound. Before I move to the compression side of it, let me bypass the EQ moves we've made so far and see how it's impacted the sound. I like that punch. Remember, that knock is there. We've lost it. We've lost it slightly, but we've gained some low end. But we need to get that back. So I'm using a compressor right here. And the compressor here is really for dynamic purposes mainly. Also to help me add some punch back. So I'm using a very fast release and then kind of slow to medium attack as well. This compressor in itself can be very punchy. Even if you engage this punch, you can get more punch out of it. So, and then I'm using 4:1. Analog is off, 100% wet. So let's hear that. It goes to get a fat kick sound. It's pretty good. I see I'm not compressing much. So now here's what I would say. Now we've gotten that low end from the boost we've done. Now this is using a transient designer or transient shaper to help me get the desired sound for that kick. So as you can see here, I'm reducing the sustain and then I'm increasing the attack. I'm just gonna play that so you can hear it. So that's really where, if I bypass some of the EQs I made earlier on, boosting the low end, let's see what it sounds like. What was I doing here? So you see, so with the transient shaper, by itself, man, there's just punch. But with the boost we've done, now the kick drum is tight. The sustain is too much. Decay, boom, boom, boom. So we're not done yet. I'm sending this now. I have a kick parallel that I use. And on there, I'm using the DBX 160. DBX 160 has been kind of a huge blessing in terms of, there's just some punch it adds. It doesn't look like it adds punch, but it looks like a smooth compressor, but it adds punch to it. But I'm taking it further by using decapitator after that compressor. So as you can see, I'm cranking a huge amount here of the drive, and I'm compensating with the output here. I'm also using the tone knob and a little bit of high pass filter as well. Now let's hear what this is doing. Let me bring both of those compressors in. I can take this one out. So with this, what you're going to hear is added punch. This is what the transient designer can do, or the smack attack I use. This is taking it up much further. We're getting punch and we're also getting some kind of just punch. Yeah. All right. Let's play that. So the compressor is doing maybe, who knows, like not up to 10 dB, but just maybe 8 dB. Let me bypass the decapitator. All right. Bring it in. So Decapitator is doing something awesome, and I'm using the EMI channel here because I want that bite and aggressiveness. Let's bypass the entire parallel processing. I'm gonna play the entire drums. Bring the parallel in. I mean, it's loud again, and then you can always compensate the now none of this is really balanced well, but okay, so I'm gonna bypass all the processing we did on the kick drum. Let's see how I can do that. All right, this is what we started with. This is what we have. And I can only just balance the volume. Play around with the volume, the parallel processing volume. Alright, that's it. I hope this was really helpful on how to get that punchy and fat kick drum sound. Well controlled, and this can poke through the mix well and give you, it's kind of solid in the low end. So let me know what you think, and if you apply this, let me know your results. Thanks again for staying with me. If you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know what you're doing. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video for more. Thank you, and I'll see you in a different video. Bye.